welcome to this week's Teaching Raid live stream, coming to you from Sarlona. If you haven't joined us for one of these events before, these are events that me and my guild, the High Lords of Malkir, have been hosting for 5 years now, during the winter and spring, where we take new players, or players new to the raids, and show them how the raids work. And so these events are designed to be low stress, fun learning environments. A lot of times we'll just do like lower difficulties for whatever raid we're doing, but today's raid is going to be the Epic Demon Queen raid, and we will be doing Epic Elite since it's kind of an older school raid, and we're all going to be over level. I am feeling a little under the weather today, so if I sound a little stuffed up, that's why. Because this is an older raid and a very soloable raid, I thought maybe I wouldn't get very many signups for this one, but I actually have, I think, the best enrollment for this event of all events this year so far. So we started them, just after the new year, and this is about the 6th event of the year. And I want to say right now that next week's event is going to be the new raids, the new Ravenloft raids, Old Baba's Hut, and the Curse of Strahd. So if you're on Sarlona and you want to get involved, if you're new to those raids, then I'm going to be posting information in the Sarlona forum about that on Monday, so you can review that if you want to get signed up. So, but today's event is Epic Demon Queen. We're going to be doing the pre-raid against the Demon Queen and the raids of Wabi's Revenge. We're all going to be doing that together. So, if you're watching the live stream, you got a few minutes before the action gets started. I'm going to get the folks that are signed up for the event into my group now. That'll take me a few minutes to do. So it's a great time to go grab a drink or something. Hey Lazarus, hey Chakmo, welcome.
Hey, thanks.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, how are you? Hey Lion Fear, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Hell yeah. Welcome MVP. We should have one more. See if I can track that person down, and here they are. Welcome, Ali. Welcome, everyone. So, 3 of the folks here have been to our teaching raid events before, so very happy to have you back. And we have 2 folks here that have never attended a teaching raid event before, and that's MVP and Ali Babenka. So glad to have you. Just in case you guys don't know, these are events that we do every week through the winter. Through the winter and spring. We do a different raid every week. And next week we're going to be doing the Curse of Strahd and Old Baba's Hut. So every week I post details in the Sarlona forums to which raid we're doing, what you need to do to get flagged, and any other important information about the event. So for those of you that haven't been to a teaching raid before, the events are meant to be just really low stress, fun learning environments where I'm going to show you how the raids work. In this case, we're going to do the pre-raid together against the Demon Queen, and then the raid, which is called Zawabi's Revenge. And the pre-raid has to be done every time you do the raid. you don't have to do the rest of the flagging quest, but the pre-raid against the Demon Queen has to be done every time. Now normally when I do these events, I'll have like a guild group. Well, usually this is the only raid that I can think of where there's like a flagging, a pre-raid flagging mechanism where it's not a raid group. So, you know, in our normal events, I would have a bunch of my guildies here to help out. Usually what I do for the DQ raid is I'll have a separate guild event, and they're doing against the Demon Queen on their own, while I lead the teaching group, and then when we go to the raid, then we join together. And that's how this traditionally works. I know there's some people who have never done the raid before, so you would traditionally have two groups running the pre-raid, and then after the pre-raid they would join together for the raid. But this time I thought we would just have the one group, and the reason why I wanted to do that is because I want to show you that this raid is very easy to do short-handed. In fact, it's a very soloable raid, especially when you're level 30, you know, when you're way over level like that. Like, you can solo this raid, and virtually anybody can do it. And you may not be able to solo it on Epic Elite. You know, you could try Epic Hard or Epic Normal, or if that, even that's too much for you, heck, you take your level 30 into Heroic, and I guarantee you can do it. So for those of you who are new, I'm going to be explaining everything. But if you have questions at any point, you get lost, you're not sure what to do, you want more explanation, just ask. And don't hesitate to interrupt me, otherwise I'm just going to keep explaining things.
No problem.
So I want to know who here, is there anybody here that's never done the pre-raid against the Demon Queen?
Never done it.
Okay, wow. Very cool. And who here has never done the raid itself? Because sometimes we get people who've done these raids before, but just, you know, maybe have only done it a couple times and still feel like they have stuff to learn. And that's fine. Sometimes we get first timers, sometimes we get people. There are some raids in this game that you could do it, you could easily do a dozen times and still feel lost. This is not really one of them, but some others, maybe like well, like the new raids, one of the new raids, Curse of Strahd, or, you know, Titan raid, or Vault of Night. Like, you could do those a bunch of times and still feel like you don't know what's going on. Okay, so is everybody here totally new to the raid? Nobody here has ever done the raid before?
Totally new.
That is awesome. That's really awesome. This is an old school raid. DDO's first ever epic raid. And when I first started playing DDO, this was just one of the, you know, we didn't have as many raids back then, and this was one of the ones we ran all the time. So lots of memories of the raid, and I'm going to show you how it works. So first thing I want to tell you is, and this is a mistake that a lot of people make, especially people who are newer to it, but even veterans will make this mistake. When you, after you finish flagging, or, you know, when you're going to run it again, you know, in 3 days, and you talk to Zawabi, the first time you talk to him, it resets the raid. You have to then talk to him a second time in order to pick up the pre-raid. So it's very, very, very important that you talk to him twice. What a lot of people will do is they just talk to him once, and they, you know, it says reset the raid, and they think, okay, I've got it, and they just run out. And you can red box the pre-raid. So people will jump in not realizing they're red boxing it, and then they go to do the raid, and they didn't actually get the flag because they didn't actually pick up the pre-raid. So make sure you talk to Zawabi twice. So make sure that you actually have the quest against the Demon Queen. Alright. Now we're going to go through the Slayer Zone. We have to go through the Slayer Zone to get to the pre-raid. I know there are some people here that have done the pre-raid before, and I think there are some people here that are pretty experienced with it. But that's cool. Everybody wanted to come to the pre-raid, and happy to have you for it. If you are already familiar with it, I do want us to all stick together. I said this to the live stream, but I'm not sure if I said it to you guys. I am feeling a little under the weather this week, so if I sound nasally, that's why. Please bear with me, and I'll try not to cough into the mic. All right, right this way. So this getting out to the pre-raid can be very confusing in itself for people who are newer to this. So I'm going to point out some landmarks as we're going. So straight ahead, we got these two totems, right? And we're going to basically go straight ahead past those. And then we got two more sets of totems here. And at this point, it doesn't matter which opening we go to, left or right. They're both going to end up going the same way. This is kind of a loop here. For those watching the live stream, I want to know who is new to this, if you have never done the pre-raid. So here, we just got a message that says Serpent's Pass, and then after we get out of Serpent's Pass, we're going to be making a left. And I also want to know if you haven't done the raid. We always have people from other servers that are learning. Hey Dallas, welcome. They're learning the raid too. Notice that we're going under a natural bridge. We're going to be doubling back and going over that natural bridge that's above me right now. If you know the landmarks well enough, you can talk somebody out here when you're in the pre-raid. Somebody who's never been here before, if you can tell them those landmarks, they can figure it out. Pulling up a map is often not good enough for folks just because it's such a windy path. In case you're not familiar with the Slayer Zone up there, straight ahead above me is the Crow's Nest Explorer. Watch this jump here, make sure you don't fall. Another jump. And here is the entrance to the pre-raid. And even for those of you who, and we're going to be doing this on Epic Elite, by the way. This is only a level 24, so we're not going to have a problem with it. This way everybody gets maximum favor. But I'm hoping that even for those of you who've done the pre-raid before and that you're familiar with it, I'm hoping that the stuff I go over, that you're going to at least learn one or two little nuggets of information. The first thing I want to show you is this link to a Solver site. which I love. I love this site. It's a little outdated, but it still has some relevant solvers like Shroud Puzzles, Reaver's Refuge Puzzle Solver, the Riddle Solver for this, the Litany of the Dead Riddle Solutions, and the Monastery Puzzle. Some of the other information, like the Cane of Crafting, is actually for the old system, but I'm going to be referring to this site. And in order to do this pre-raid, there are like six hallways that have like different objectives down them, and the order in which you do the hallways changes every time you do the pre-raid. So there's a riddle here at the Tome of the Six Swords that is going to let you figure out the solution. Now, I don't know how to decipher the riddle, and so I'm not even going to try to attempt to tell you how to do that. I'm just going to tell you that you can go to this solver, click on the Demon Queen tab, or you can go to DDO Wiki because the solutions are there too, and there's a list. And what you want to do is click on the pedestal and scroll down, and I want everybody to go ahead and do that. If you don't know how to do this, I want everybody to go ahead and click on the pedestal now, the Tome of the Six Swords, and scroll down just a little bit, and you're going to see like a riddle that has some words in capital letters. It says like mockery is first to draw blood, poisoner and grasping never cross, devious strikes close to night, hungry deals the killing blow. Hopefully you all see that, and that everybody, it says it in that order. To use the solver, all we're interested in is the words in all capitals, and only the first three. In this case, mockery, poisoner, and grasping. So those are the first three, and all we do is just take those first three and reference them on the chart on the site that I gave you. On the left, you find where they appear in that order, mockery, poisoner, grasping, and it'll say if those are your first three, then the solution is just to the right of that. So let's see. And you can just copy and paste that into DDO. Just in case you didn't know, you can copy and paste in DDO just like you can in any other Windows application. You can do Control-C to copy and Control-V as in Victor to paste. So you can copy it, from a Word document or a website, and then just Control-V to paste it into chat. A lot of people don't know that. I also want to say that there are some times in which the riddle will change on groups. And I've never been able to figure out, despite trying, I've never been able to figure out what exactly causes the riddle to sometimes change. I've heard people say that it's when people come in late, or somebody else clicks the book, or you click the book a second time, but I've tried to repeat all of those, and I've never been able to get any of those things to definitively do that. Now, I can say for sure that I've seen the riddle change, but it doesn't happen very often. I just want to let you know that just in case you're like, man, I looked it up and I'm sure I got it right. Well, sometimes it changes and I don't exactly know why. I wish I did. If there's maybe there's somebody on the live stream that knows, and they can tell us. And I meant to mention that I am live streaming this event. Just going to be, not more than about 20 or 30 people watching us at any given point. It's just 5 people watching us now. But we always have people from other servers, and some people, actually there's at least one person from Sarlona too that's watching. But a lot of times we have people from other servers that are watching and learning and asking questions right along with us. Okay, let's go ahead and get some buffs. Now, we are doing this on Epic Elite because, I'm sure there's some people here that could benefit from getting XP, and it's pretty good XP on Epic Elite. But it's good to know that you can do this on any difficulty, even Heroic, and still flag for the raid. So you could just come in here on Heroic Casual and just breeze through it in, 5 minutes, and then you'd flag for the raid. Which if you ever did this and you didn't pick it up and you didn't get the flag, That's typically what a person would do, is come back out here and then just come in on casual and just run it really quick so they get the flag. Try very, very hard not to fall. If you fall down in that lava, there is no way back up. There are no safe spots down there. It's just lava. The only way to get somebody out of there is to have somebody like jump down there with D-Door and help you out. Watch these little orbs that are floating around, these little twinkly orbs. There's both of them in the center right now. They just moved. Those are like disjunction balls, and they are super laggy, which can be really scary because they can make you lag so bad and you fall right off the side. So try not to hit those. I should have said that before we came up here. But we're going to clear the platform of Ifrits now. Okay, and while trying to avoid the little balls, and it's not a big deal if you get hit by them, but if they disjunct your like striding or jumping item, then that can kind of suck. Look down in this grate in the middle. You can see there's a little area down there. That's the penalty box, which we're going to be going there later. I'm going to show you how that works. Also, just go ahead and come down this hall here. And I want to show you, because these plaques are really hard to see from a distance. And even close up, the graphics are kind of weird. It's like dark blue on black, and it's just kind of weird graphics. But every one of the halls has a crest above it to tell you which hall that is. So this is the Scorpion Hall. Hopefully you can tell that's a picture of a scorpion, like facing down, his claws are down. And the order in which we need to do these halls is monkey, octopus, bat, snake, scorpion, and wolf. But I want to show you what happens when you do a hallway out of order. So instead of starting with monkey, we're going to start with scorpion here. And there's actually value in doing a hall out of order. It's an optional. It's worth a decent amount of XP for the very small amount of time that it takes to do it. Some scorpions here, no big deal. There's a collectible behind the blocks here. I want to show you a little jump here, a little trick for this jump to get the chest over here. Now, if you have abundant step, of course, you can just jump right over. No big deal, right? But not everybody has that. And so I want to show you a little trick to make that jump a little easier, because people struggle with it. So first you're going to jump over to the side, come over this ledge. Looks like somebody got their feather falling item disjuncted. And so where people will struggle is they try to jump over to it, and you did a really good job there. Some people have a really hard time with it. So a little trick you can do is, if you look straight ahead into the corner, you see the corner is like beveled. It's like a crown ceiling or whatever it's called. If you basically jump straight ahead into that with just a slight angle, slight right angle, it'll like shoot you right over to the ledge. I'll see if I can demonstrate that. Like that. So I'm not actually jumping over to the ledge, I'm sort of jumping more straight into the corner, and it just sort of, because it's beveled there, it just shoots me right over. It'll take you a few tries to get the hang of it. But if you can make the jump by aiming for it, that's great. I'm just saying a lot of people have a real hard time with it and get frustrated. But whatever works for you. You can get seals out of here. This is an old school raid, which has old school epic items, which requires you to gather the base item, the scroll, the seal, and the shard of the item, and to combine all four of those items into the epic altar to create the epic item. Most of the items, when made epic, are kind of irrelevant by today's standards, but I think there are some that are still kind of neat. And this pack has a ton of named items. Because it has so many, it can be very challenging to gather up all the items for the one specific one you're trying to make. But you can practice on your own. Let's keep moving for now. There are poison traps here. They can be disabled. Do it? Yeah, we do have a trapper here, I think. Chakma. There's a box here. 2 boxes. MVP, you probably know that in elemental form you are immune to poison, so you don't even have to jump over that. You can just stand in it and laugh. And then there's more poison jets right here. Don't go in the room at the end there because it'll lock us out. Definitely worth taking the time to do traps because, like I said, this is a decent XP quest. So, you know, I know when we do this in Guild, we do all the traps and all the optionals because it's pretty quick. And the thing is, go ahead and come in just a little bit. Don't go in all the way. When you're with a group where everybody knows it, usually you can just send one person down each hallway. So they're all done at the same time, basically. So once you come in about halfway into the room, it'll lock and we'll have some mobs to fight. And remember, we are doing this hallway out of order. Once you clear the mobs, we want to click on the plaque in the back on the wall. Click on this plaque in the back. And a voice will say, "You have chosen wrongly." And then we get sent to the penalty box. Which is where I showed you earlier. We're below the main platform now. There's going to be 4 red named mobs here. And a collectible. And each one of those mobs is worth like 3 grand. I'm getting $32.77 for each one. So that's a quick, 13 grand for a few seconds and a collectible. So like I said, a lot of groups will go ahead and do this. If there's anybody in the group that's getting XP. You don't have to kill the archers, just go ahead and go to the top. There's a lever on the wall that will open up the hatch, and we use the ladder to get out. And we're going to go down Monkey next. And the hallways, by the way, are in the same location every time. It's just the order in which we need to do them changes. So, it's a weird graphic, but that is a monkey crest. Hopefully you can see that. It's definitely worth doing breakables in here too. Now, monkey is probably the hardest hallway. We're not going to have a hard time with it, but if you're ever doing it like elite at level or at level for maximum Reaper XP, if these casters hit really hard and their self-healing is pretty serious. So if you get some squishy tunes or something, like their disintegrates and stuff can take you right out. And if you're lower DPS, it can be hard to overcome their self-healing. It's really easy to get overwhelmed here. When you have all 6 people down here, it's no sweat. Then we got some more Wildmen Mystic casters. And we got another chest here. We're gonna need somebody to search this out though. The secret passage right where I am. So if you're ever farming, if you ever need a seal, you want to farm seals, this is a great quest to do it because you can actually run and check this chest and that scorpion chest without fighting any mobs. And there's another chest you can do that to as well, down the octopus hallway. And you can come in here and check those 3 chests again without fighting any mobs in just a few minutes. You step out, you reset it, you do it again. That's how you farm your seals. So here, that lever ahead of me is going to pull down the gate over here, and it's only gonna pull it up, gonna open it up, and it's only gonna open that gate for about 15 seconds. So you got to be quick. So everybody else, go ahead and go over to that gate right now, and I'll pull the lever and scoot over there quickly. I just don't want anybody to get locked out. And once you're all at that ledge, then I'll open it up. Hey Zoom, hey BNVP, welcome to the live stream. Those of you just tuning in, we got 5 people here that are brand new to the raid, and some of them are brand new to the teaching or to the pre-raid too. Okay, I'm gonna open it up. Make sure you go through the gate when it comes up. More casters up top. Should be using my new sentient weapon, since I don't need... I typically use it when I'm not doing Reaper quests.
Oh, neat.
I don't need the extra goodies. Oh, somebody got locked out. Okay, Lion Fear. Stay right there. I'm gonna D-door. Everybody else, sit tight. I'll be right there. I'm gonna let you through. Alternatively, you could have went... No, it's okay. You could have went back and hit that lever. But it's... In fact, I should have just had you do that. But it's just... You gotta be quick. And since you're newer to it, I'll just come back and do it. Need one more filigree for this sentient weapon. I'm gonna open it up now. And then I want to do a video talking about my preference of the Dusk versus the LGS Radiance and demonstrate both. Oh, there's a collectible down below back here as well, some moss or fungus or something. DDO, the game where fungus is exciting.
Nice.
Okay, it's the same concept here that there's a lever to pull which opens a gate up for about 15 seconds. So you got to get through it really quick. On Epic Elite, there's a air jet that blows you back, so you gotta stay to the side when you're going to do the lever. Please just go in the door a little bit. Don't run all the way in when I open it. Super lag. Okay, we're all in. So same thing, just we step forward and there's some mobs to fight. Now here there's a little thing where you can get really screwed because there's 2 different gates here. One comes down when we come forward, and then the other is controlled by the lever over there. So you can actually if it, you could actually get caught between these two gates, and there are some scenarios in which there's not really any way out. If you can't D-door out, then the only thing you can do is just recall out and re-enter. In which, if you're on Reaper, you can't do that because you can't re-enter a Reaper dungeon. Okay, so this is the first hallway we're doing correctly. So we hit the plaque, and this time instead of going to the penalty box, the Prince of Swords appears. And we beat him down. The gate opens. So the scenario in which you get stuck here, which sucks, is if you were soloing here, and there was nobody else in there. If you were coming here with a group, and people did make it in, well, then you can get out once they finish the Prince of Swords. No big deal. But if you were the only one and you got caught here, and there's nobody else with you, then you're screwed. Okay, monkey is done. Now we're going back out. I want you to notice in the upper right-hand corner it says, recite the glyphs of the second sword. And that's telling you which one we're on. Monkey, octopus, bat, snake, scorpion, wolf. So we just did monkey, octopus is the second one. See, it says up there, recite the glyphs of the second sword. So now we know what we're on octopus. And that's the next hallway to the right. So if you ever come in late, you don't have to ask the group, like, which one are you on? All you have to do is look up in the upper right-hand corner, and as long as you've deciphered the riddle, or you have the riddle solution, you can tell it says recite the glyphs of the second sword, so you know you're on octopus. But, like I said, every time you do this, it's different. So this one's underwater. Part of it. There's going to be some levers we got to do. And the first lever is in these blocks. Now we're going to go into this next room. Go ahead and pull that lever, guys. I want everybody in here, and don't pull this next lever yet. It's in underwater in the blocks. I really want to show you where this next lever is, because I've seen people who just couldn't find it to save their lives. Like, I've watched people drown in this part, because even though people were trying to explain to them where the next lever was, they couldn't find it. It's hilarious to watch, but it happens. So there's a lever, and the first place it can be is right here, which it is, right behind this block, which has already been pulled. But the other places that it can be, go ahead and swim up. It can be right here where I am, like against this median, right in front of my face. And then the third place it can be is over here right in front of my face. The lever will always be in one of those three places. So don't panic if you're ever in here alone. You get locked in. The lever's always going to be in one of those three places. So here we've got a spinny blade trap, which can really hurt if you're doing this like elite at level or reaper at level, or even if you're squishy. There's a key right there that I had to pick up. There's also some rubble. There's a trap box down there. There's also a trap box up here above the pedestal. Chakma is finding out how much those blades hurt. There's another, should be a trap box up here where I am. Right above this pedestal. Come on up here, Chakma. You really want to like swim straight up and then over so you don't hit the blades if the blades are scary. Now disable the blades, but there's no way to disable those spinny traps down there as far as I know. We're going to go to the north. Air pocket here if you need to, if you're running out of breath like me. And then there's a secret passage here that just opens up a chest. So this is the third chest that you can just come in here and farm without fighting anything. And it can have seals. The key that we got in the previous section with the spinny blades that was on the floor that I picked up just opens that door, unlocks that door, and then we pull this lever and we're going to go straight across to the south. Come on inside, Allie. Don't want you to get locked out. Alright. So here's just going to be a couple mind flayers. Now the Prince of Swords that's going to appear, I just want to show you that. Notice that the hall, it will advance where it says recite the glyphs with the second sword. That will advance as soon as we hit the glyphs here. Okay, and the Prince of Sword doesn't actually have to be killed. You can actually D-door out of here. And then it's just considered complete. You don't actually have to kill the Prince of Swords. Now we're killing him really quickly, so no big deal. Go ahead and D-door out. But if you were doing this at level on Reaper or something like that, you know, you might not want to spend your time and resources killing the Prince of Swords. You might just want to D-door out. So now it says recite the glyphs of the third sword. So that means we're on bat. If you guys watching the live stream have any questions about this, about the content that we're doing, just let me know. My concentration, or I mainly focus on the folks here in the raid, but I am watching the chat. So here I want to show you, step back from that corner, because there's a very painful trap there, which MVP has found. And they are not disableable, at least most of them here. You're getting a little bit too close there, Lacertus. So there's Sonic traps that are pretty painful. Especially if you're doing this like Heroic Elite at level, or you're doing this for Bravery bonus on Epic, and you're doing Epic Elite at like level 22 or 4 or whatever. They can wipe a party. I've seen it happen. I'm going to show you how to avoid them, because like I said, they cannot be disabled. Just stay hard to the left, right here where I am. Just hug the left corner, and you won't trigger it. But don't go too far past, just stay right where I am. Because there's another one in this next corner that we don't want to trigger. You ran right through the trap, Chocma. So let me show you again where to go to avoid triggering it. Watch me, right here in this corner. You just stay tight to the corner, you won't trigger it. You step out here, you trigger the trap. Just stay tight to the corner, you don't trigger it. It's the same thing in this next corner, except it's the right corner here where I am. If you go out into the main part of the corner, you trigger the same kind of trap. Here there's more Sonic traps right in front of us. I'm just going to trigger them so that you can see. Most of those can be disabled. There's a box on each side here. Let's go ahead and come over here and disable these, please. There's a box right where I am. When these boxes are disabled, it will spawn a group of methods. And for some folks, you know, these might be challenging if you're doing a higher difficulty. Maybe, you know, you just have your level 20 tune in here or something. So sometimes people like extra help. There's another box here and a collectible. More methods will spawn when this one's disabled. And now most of these traps, these Sonic traps, except for the one in the middle, are disabled. If you don't have a trapper here, the
So
best way,
that's what a trap
and you're
going off
worried
looks
about
like.
the damage from the traps, what you want to do is just run quickly along either side, and if you do that, then you would hopefully get hit by one of those sonic traps at the most. This corner does not have a sonic trap in it. And just like the end of every hall, there's a room like this with a plaque, and a gate will come down once we're in. A little bit more, Ollie. I don't want you to get locked out. Some trash mobs.
Nice one!
Lagging. It's been lagging for me pretty bad today. We were doing Ravenloft earlier, and the lag. We had about 3 party wipes because of a really, really bad lag. So we hit the glyphs here, the plaque, Prince of Swords again. And now we go out. The traps are still live, so avoid them the same way we did coming through here. Now it says recite the glyphs of the 4th sword. So we are on Snake. Snake has troglodytes. See the crest here has a snake on it. Once we kill that little caster there, the barrier will come down, opening up the end room. You don't even have to kill all that trash there if you don't want to. Same deal. Some more trash mobs. And then we have the plaque, Prince of Swords. If you're watching the live stream and you're interested in the Dusk, which is the new battle axe, the caster light, the Radiance and Radiance lore out of Baba. Note, and if you have an experience with it and you're interested in it, notice the proc rate of it. It has like a sunburst effect that's, that can blind mobs, but it hardly ever procs. I can go through a whole quest with it procking a couple of times. Terrible. Okay, it says recite the glyphs of the 5th sword, so we're on Scorpion now. And remember, we did Scorpion first. We did it out of order. And so all the trash mobs are clear up until the end fight of this hall. And so when I first saw the Dusk, I was excited because, it seemed like a really good replacement for the legendary green steel. They both have blinding, but the blinding on the legendary green steel procs way, way, way more often than the Dusk, which is no comparison. Same thing, some trash mobs. Now we are smoking this, but I do really want to emphasize that if you are doing it at level, whether it's heroic or epic, this is challenging.
Nice one!
And now we're on the last hallway, which is Wolf. Wolf can be a very difficult hallway because it has the rack hounds and they do Cyclonic Blast, which there's no save for and can be extremely painful. But how about the increased radiance? That's a good question, Claude. So if you are a traditional, light-based caster and you're wanting to max out your radiance and radiance lore, that's your best bet. But this tune is more like a tanky tune, so it's not critical for me to have, totally maxed out radiance and radiance lore. It's that item is only like 20 more radiance and like 3 more crit chance. So that's not a big deal for me because, like I said, I'm more of a tanky tune, and so I just stick with what with the 185 radiance and the 27% radiance lore. And the reason why I prefer the LGS radiance is because the blinding effect is great for Reaper mode. It's great crowd control. And I've got 100 heal amp on it, which is the way I have it set up. Tier 1 is 30 and Tier 3 is 70, and then the second tier I have 9 MRR. And that works better for me in Reaper mode. Now if I'm not doing Reaper mode, I use the Dusk. But if I'm in Reaper mode, I find the extra heal amp and the blinding effect to be a better choice for me. Like I said, if you were a more traditional caster, a more distance-based caster, then the Dusk would be more than likely a superior choice. But I'm a tanky caster, so I don't want to lose those abilities that I have in the LGS radiance, and I can settle for a little less light spell power and a little less light crit chance. That's not a big deal to me. Same thing. Now we have to confront Queen Layla about her anger issues. If you haven't yet, go ahead and look over the edge. I want you to see that it's just like all lava down there. Like I said, if you fall down, you're kind of screwed. Hopefully there's somebody else in your group that can jump down and throw you a D-door that you can take. And even that can be kind of tricky because they have to once they get down there, they have to jump and cast it and hope they didn't cast it in some weird place. Because there are no ledges or any kind of safe spots down there. It's just lava. Terrible design. But letting you know, it's really, really important that you don't fall. But it's also very easy to fall because of those laggy disjunction balls. Or lag in general can make you go right off the edge. So here is the one shrine of the quest. If you were doing this, at level and mana was tight or something, some people will clear the next hall and then come back and rest, but we can just go ahead and rest now if you need to. Yeah, I'll show you something else that a lot of people that have done this don't realize, just because they've never sort of paid attention to their, spatial surroundings. Or if you come out here to the top of the steps and you look up, that's where we're going. That's where we're going to be fighting the Demon Queen, right up there. So a lot of people don't realize that they were just above the starting platform when they're fighting the Demon Queen at the end. So here we're going to fight a hallway of trash, some renders and ifrits. If you're doing this at level heroic, level 12 for maximum Reaper, which I've done as high as Reaper 6 Skull is the highest I've done. If you get like champion these flame or pyro demons, if they're champions and they do like their flame strike, it's so
Next
crazy
line.
painful. Champion flame strikes in heroic Reaper dungeons are terrifying.
You're really good at this.
This is a lockout point right here. Once you talk to the queen and get things started, a gate will come down, and it won't come back up until you defeat her. We actually have to fight the queen 2 times. The gate will come back up after we defeat her the first time. Once we kill her once, she'll defeat into her inner circle. She'll retreat into her inner circle, and then we'll have to fight her again. So once we talk to her, Prince of Swords here will animate, as well as the 2 Ifrits back here, and we'll have to kill the Prince of Swords before Laylat will activate. We're gonna smash her, but like I said, if you do this like at level on Reaper, like level 12 or something, or even if you're just doing it on like Elite at like level 14 for Bravery bonus, or you're doing this on Epic Elite for Bravery, like she will cut you down. She is insane on Heroic Reaper. Like if you come in here and start to get up to like mid skull at level 12, you better have a real tank with you, because she just will like mow people down like nothing. Okay, so we gotta kill the Prince of Swords here, and we'll also take care of the Ifrits there. And once the Prince of Swords is dead, then she'll animate, she'll activate, and I want everybody to just go ahead and get in her face. I want you to experience what she feels like on Epic Elite. So so like I said, you can shorthand this raid, you can even solo it, and I want you to experience this now, so you think, well, yeah, I can do this. So get in her face, take a hit. Hell yeah, good job. I didn't even help you guys there. So we'll step into this teleportation circle to go to the main platform where the end fight is, but before you do that, I just want to show you, I want everybody to jump over the edge, but make sure that you fall onto the stairs. Okay, I'm just showing you, fall straight down onto the stairs where I'm going. And I'm just showing you that we're right back where we were, where the shrine is. So if you, a little shortcut back to the shrine, if you wanted a shrine after that part, you wouldn't have to come back down the hall. Yeah, if you don't have D-Door, it is a very dangerous shortcut. Especially if you don't have D-Door and you don't have Featherfall. Go ahead and step into the white circle, but don't move forward after that. A couple Pyro Demons to take care of. But don't approach the chest yet, please. So once you approach the chest or try to open it or whatever, the Demon Queen will appear. And there's an explosion when that happens, a fiery explosion, which, like again, like at level, that explosion can really hurt. So you'd want to have like maybe your tank go up there and have everybody else like step way to the side so that they're way far away from the explosion. It has a pretty big radius, even though it looks small. It hits people from pretty far away. So, if that explosion is at all concerning to you, Make sure that you're far away from it when the tank approaches the Demon Queen. But I want everybody, I want you to experience it though, so everybody go ahead and come up to the chest. And you guys can fight the DQ. And there are those disjunction balls in here too. Piece of cake, that was all you guys. I doubt anybody here wants the seal of the Coronation Shield, but just in case anybody does. You get 2 tokens from this chest too, which is pretty awesome. I don't know if that's on all difficulties. Anybody at all want that? Okay, any questions about the pre-raid? That's the whole pre-raid. Any questions about anything that we did? We're going to do the raid now, and the raid's a lot shorter. Gather on the chest for a greater teleport. And now we're going to go back up to Zawabi. It's going to let us into the raid. Which we are also going to do on Epic Elite. Hopefully everybody picked up the raid. Or the pre-raid and got the flag. You talk to Zawabi and tell him you want to go into the Circle of Eternity. And don't move once you get inside. Congrats on your DDO points. Awesome, everybody is in. So like I said before, traditionally what would happen is there would be a second group that was doing the pre-raid, and then after both groups are done with the pre-raid, you would group up, and this is a raid now. You can have 12 people in here. But normally that's what I do, but I specifically wanted to do just 6 this time, just one group, to show you guys that this is very doable short-handed. And the value in that is because, you know, this is an older raid and it can be hard to find a group for. So, you know, I want you guys to see you can do this short-handed and that you can do this solo. Like, I would love for you guys, like, in 3 days when you're off timer, to come back out here on your own, do the pre-raid, even if you want to do it on, you know, heroic casual, and then come and do the raid, come and solo the raid, even if you just do it on, you know, heroic normal or something. Like, I want you to see that you can do it, and then you can work up your difficulties. And then, you know, if you don't have a buddy, or you don't have guildies, you can't find a group, like, you can come out here and do it on your own every 3 days and try to farm out the gear that you want. So this hallway it's just a straight hallway with a series of gates and trash mobs. And as we advance, the mobs will spawn, and once we kill all the mobs, the gate will lift and we'll be able to go to the next section. After about, like, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes, the gates will fall back down. Maybe even a minute. I never timed it. It's not too terribly long. And so you don't ever want to, like, jump in and start it until you want to wait till everybody is in the raid before you start moving ahead, because if you start moving ahead and it takes somebody a couple minutes to get in because they were getting ship buffs or something, they can get locked out, and then they're going to have to fight their way through it again, and it's just going to take longer. And if it's like a squishy person without a lot of DPS, they may not be able to fight through it, so you just wait for everybody and have everybody go together. Good to have Fire Shield, the blue version, on for this hallway. Probably don't need it because we're way over level, but if you were doing it at level, I would highly recommend Fire Shield. This is all fire creatures in here, and lava and fiery death. There's a collectible here. After we kill this next group, I don't want us to advance. Just stay right here. Just stay right here, guys. I want you to turn around and look back at the start. And I want to show you that, I'm just going to show you that the gates are going to start closing behind us. They'll probably start closing in like 30 seconds. Anybody watching the live stream have any questions about the pre-raid or things so far here in the raid? Any second now it's gonna close, I swear. I should have timed it. So that way in the future I could tell people like it's 120 seconds. Or it's 60 seconds. Well, we can just keep going. But they do close. There we go. One just closed behind us. Two just closed behind us. And the fire elementals here, you can actually just run by them. You don't even need to kill them. You can just run by them into the portal. And the last gate just closed. If people get stuck between the gates or behind the gates, they will have to fight the mobs again to get those gates to go back up. So don't zerg in that part. Don't zerg here either, because there could be, you can lock people out. This next portal, that will disappear once we start the boss fight. So you can here you can shrine up if you need to. We won't need to, but you know, if you're doing it at level for bravery bonus or whatever, you may need that shrine. And it's also good to know, like, you can mana dump. You know, you're doing it on heroic elite. There's just a few of you. You can mana dump during that first haul, and you're gonna have a shrine. Okay, welcome to the Circle of Eternity. We hope you enjoy your stay. So this is the raid right here. It's that hallway and this platform, and that's it. And before we get things started with the Demon Queen, I'm going to show you where a couple collectibles are. Come over here to the northeast edge. You can look down and there's lava, kind of like the pre-raid, except here they did a smart thing and they put a portal down there that if you fall, you can take the portal back up. Go ahead and jump down because there's a collectible down here. If you're doing this on Reaper mode and you're worried about Reapers, I would recommend not doing this before you start the raid. Maybe you could do it at the end because there could be Reapers down here, and that could suck. And there are also Ifrits that are going to spawn. You can see they're spawning now, red name Ifrits. So just get your collectible and go through the portal. And now, once you go through the portal, we're going to turn around and go to the southwest corner and jump over the edge. And there's another collectible and a little platform with another portal. So, regardless of which side you fall down, there's going to be a portal not too far away. Now you know what to do if you fall, or the Demon Queen can actually telekinesis you off of the edge. She can toss you right off. So it's important that you know what to do if you fall. Jorge, I hope that's right. Yes, Sarlona is a pretty active server. It is definitely one of the most active. I'm not going to try to say it is the most active, but I know it is. It's at least one of the top 3. It's a fairly active, and I'll just pull up the panel here. Grouping. Not actually. Not. It's 10 o'clock. I'm surprised there aren't more groups in this, but you can see there are a couple R1, R4 plus, a couple epic groups. I'm surprised that there's not twice as many LFMs right now, honestly. Okay, so the way this works is once we step forward, we're going to talk to the Demon Queen. She's going to disappear and go onto one of the 4 platforms that you see. If you look around, look in the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, you'll see there are platforms away from this main platform. So she's going to teleport to one of those, and then periodically she'll move to a different one. She'll teleport to a different one. And she's just gonna like throw spells at us. I think chain lightning, magic missile. And we need to range her down to, we need to beat her down by about 5%. And she can even telekinesis us at that point. She can just like lift one of us up and throw us right down over the edge. And if that happens to you, you just go through one of those portals and come right back up here. So step forward, talk to her, she teleports, then we figure out where she's at, and we range her down to 5%, and then she's going to appear in the center. There's going to be archers up on these pedestals. If you look around, there's a bunch of pedestals around the outside of the platform here. There's going to be archers, null archers, red names, so they can't be insta-killed. And most groups are going to ignore them, but sometimes it may make sense. Like, if you're doing it at level, you're short-handed, it's taken a while to beat the DQ down, the archers are a pain in the butt. It doesn't take much to kill them. They will respawn eventually, but it can be nice just to get them out of the way sometimes. So, like I said, most groups don't bother with them, but sometimes I certainly, there is sometimes it will make sense. We won't worry about them. But feel free to beat them down if you just want to see like how hard it is to beat them down. And there's also going to be like spectral blades, spinny blades, big spinny blades that are just moving through the zone. They probably won't do a whole lot of damage to us, but again, at level, very painful. And so what groups might traditionally do is just stay together so that a healer can throw mass heals and keep everybody healed. If everybody's all over the place, really hard to keep people healed. They're getting hit by the archers, they're getting hit by the DQ, they're getting hit by the blades, and it can turn into a mess right at the start. Now, by today's standards, if you bring your level 30 in here, you could maybe even just solo smash this. Like, I can come in here with Voodoo, and it is no effort whatsoever to solo this. When I'm in level 30, for example. So you might be able to solo it without really much of an issue. But I want to show you the traditional way that this is done, because in Reaper mode, you're probably not just going to come in here and smash it, especially if you're trying to do like higher skulls for a challenge or something like that. So the traditional method that is used is called the Spartan method. And the way the Spartan method works is, I want everybody to come over here to this line here. And the Spartan method is a method you would use if you sort of don't have a traditional tank, or you could even if you had a traditional tank. And what you would do is you would have all the melees sort of line up along this line here to create a barrier that the Demon Queen can't pass. She's as a large creature or whatever, gargantuan, whatever she is, she has the ability to knock you down, to like bowl you over. I forget what that's called, but she can move right through you. But if you're holding the line, if you're standing still and not advancing into her, she usually stop there and won't move past you unless there's somebody behind you that grabs the aggro. So typically what the melees would line up here, creating a barrier. And they would be beating on the Demon Queen, and then the healers would be like behind them. About right where I'm at here. And then the casters might be like off to the healer's flanks back here throwing spells. And the point is that with the healers in the center, they can throw mass heals and hit everybody. They hit the melees in the front and the casters in the back. You stay in a relatively tight circle, and that's the Spartan method. If you have a proper tank, you can still do that, and you can just have the tank like have her faced away. So the tank might be out here like where I am, having her faced away from the party because she does comet falls, which can be pretty painful. Not going to be a problem for us because we're over level, but again, at level can be extraordinarily painful. And back when the level cap was 20 and we were doing this on Epic, they were terrifying. I mean, the healers would just spam heals when that was going on. It would wipe the party. We're not going to be doing the Spartan method. I'm just explaining that to you so you come in here with, with 4 or 5 of your friends on Reaper 4, at level 12, and you're wondering how can we do this without everybody running around like a jackass. You could try using the Spartan method. But we're just going to use the run around like a jackass method, so it'll just be a free-for-all. Any questions about the Spartan method before we get this started?
No, it's good.
Alright. I'm going to go ahead and talk to her. You can usually get a spell or 2 in before she disappears, if you want to. And she's on the east platform, so we're going to go ahead and range her down. You can see the spinny blades are coming in. And once she comes to the main platform, I'm going to let you guys do it. I'm just going to hang out and watch you guys have some fun. Okay, here she comes. Have at her. Get in front of her. Get in her face. See what she feels like on Epic Elite. So you can have a feel for like, hey, I think I can come in here solo and do this. Or hey, she's kicking my butt. I better do this on Epic Hard. Okay, so we beat her down a little bit, and she takes another little smoke break, and these free guards come out. She went back to her outer platforms. Being over level, the blades are not a big deal, the archers are not a big deal, but at level they can be very painful. So you might want to stick together with a healer proper throwing mass heals. Here she comes again. Turn my Aura of Menace off so that I don't grab her. Like I said, get in front of her face. If you haven't felt it yet, I want you to see what it feels like when she hits you. Her blades, at least one of her blades does a sonic damage. So it's, if you're worried at all about that, you can have sonic resist can help at level. And she is a demon, so her damage reduction is cold iron and good, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'm not real good with damage reductions because I don't play melee, but I think it's cold iron and good. Hey, Bolo. Some more Ifrits here. Have at her, guys. It's all you. I'm not doing a damn thing. Now she's going to war. When she gets down to this many hit points, she gets extra pissed off and starts swinging her swords faster and doing more damage. And you really don't want to take too much time at this point. You want to get her down as fast as possible. And that's it, guys. Like I said, that was all you. I didn't do anything. I threw maybe 3 cocoons and that was it. So the point is, I want you guys to see this is very easy to do shorthanded. Lion Fear and Chakma. I want to hear about how you two buddies came in here on your own and did it in 3 days. And Ali and MVP. I want to hear about how you guys came in here and did it. Good luck on your loot. Raider token. And, you know, I have soloed this on a first lifer on Heroic Elite at level 14. So it was a great challenge, but it's totally doable. So it's the most, probably the most soloable raid in the game, and if you're ever interested in learning soloing raids, this is a good first place to start. It's also a good place to practice your tanking ability. You know, like, if you can't stand up against the Epic Elite Demon Queen, then you got some work to do. You know, it's sort of it's like a nice gauge. Anybody want the shard of the Cape of the Rock? And also, does anybody have any questions about how the raid or the pre-raid works? And anybody in the live stream?
Can you do the pre-raid over and over?
You will be on timer for the pre-raid, but if you're with somebody else that's in, then you can get in. But Zawabi won't talk to you again to grant you the pre-raid for 3 days when you're off timer. But like I said, if there's somebody else doing it, then you can go in with them.
So just doing the pre-raid puts you on timer?
That's a good question. I think that if you did the pre-raid, it would put you on timer for the pre-raid, but you could abandon the pre-raid if you wanted to do it again.
Okay, yeah, because I think that's what he was asking, really.
Yep. Now, you wouldn't have to abandon the pre-raid if you were going in with somebody else that was flagged for it. Go ahead and go to Zawabi and turn it in, get your reward. And that's all, guys. Thanks for coming out. Like I said, we're going to be doing the new Ravenloft raids next week. Old Baba Yaga's Hut and Curse of Strahd. That's going to be a double feature. It will be kind of a longer night since we're doing 2 raids. And the Curse of Strahd is rather involved. But if you're interested in those events, I will be posting details Monday. There's no flagging required for Baba, but there is a lot of quests, 12 of them that you got to run for Curse of Strahd. So, you know, if you think you want to come to that, start getting flagged now. You can run the flagging quest on Heroic or Epic to flag just the same. Thanks again for coming out, and have a great night, guys.
Thank you so much. Dude, this is awesome.
Hell yeah. Hope to see you in future runs. See you guys.
Thanks. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you, Grant.
Okay, folks, for tuning in on a live stream, I'm going to shut it down. But if you have any questions, any last questions about the pre-raid or the raid, hey, Mike Jones. If you have any questions, I'm going to monitor the chat for the next 5 minutes. But I'm shutting the live stream, the video feed down now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon.